We are back with Brandon Bamburg, but he doesn't have a guitar this time, so that means he's on the hot seat. I get to ask him questions, and I'm even going to let our studio audience ask a few questions if they have them. And I guess first off, let's start out with you. Give us a little bit of history, where you were born and raised, and
yeah. Well, I'm from Rockwall, Texas. Smallest county in Texas, but seems to be the fastest growing right now.
Yeah.
And grew up. Got an older brother. Grew out up there in the country. Had me and my mother and grandparents were out there, and I'm about as country as it gets. So, we moved to the kind of a little bit of the urban area now. So kind of like an urban cowboy now.
Right.
But and been living out there ever since, and came back home from California about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And,
well, you mentioned in your song set that you were in the Navy, and we touched on that briefly. Tell us a little bit about that. How old were you when you went in, and about a tour over there, or what did you do?
I went in when I was 18, right after high school. I'd always wanted to go in the military. That was always my goal in life as a young kid, was to go to the military. And first, I had a lot of different aspirations as a kid. I wanted to be a weatherman. At one time, I thought I was going to be the guy that played Bart Simpson on The Simpsons.
Let's hear the impersonation.
Eat my shorts, man.
Okay, there we go.
It's awful. That's why it didn't work out. So.
Your singing voice is much nicer.
Thank you. But after 9/11, that was kind of the point for me. I saw all the troops going overseas, and I just thought that was going to be the coolest job in the world. And so every day I had always aspired to be in. When I was 13, I went into two military programs. They're outside. They're not ROTC, but one's called the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps, and then the other one was the Civil Air Patrol for the Air Force. So I was in two of those, and then all the while I was in swim team in high school, and so every day it was eat, sleep, breathe, military. We had to travel all over the country.
Yeah.
Got a big taste of the military, and went in after high school and went to Great Lakes, Illinois for boot camp for 2 months, and then got stationed out in San Diego. And I was on a destroyer for most of my time, USS Kidd, and worked in all different departments on board. But my main job in there, I worked in the deck department on the ship. So a lot of the backbreaking labor and ship maintenance. We did a lot of boating operations, and when we went on deployment for 8 months, we were a big part of counter-piracy operations and anti-terrorism operations, and working with the foreign military and special operations forces. So we were getting a lot of training from those guys, and and then I did 5 years in there and got out, and the rest is history. So
all right. And here you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So you just didn't. That really wasn't something you wanted to make a career of.
When I was in, you get home. I got homesick for a while, and it's a big commitment to commit for 20 years.
Yeah.
In there. So, when I was in, I had aspirations in the military that, I went in to go into the special forces. That was what I wanted to do in the Navy SEALs.
Right.
And so I went through the training and stuff, and I got injured in there, and then that's how I went over to the ship. And then while I was there, I was trying to get back into the program, but at the time, everybody and their mother wanted to be a Navy SEAL because they had killed Bin Laden. So
right.
So that once you kind of have your shot in that program, that's it. One shot and done, pretty much. So I was kind of let down about that, and but I was still proud to be in the military.
Of course.
There was not a day that went by that I didn't love what I was doing. I was still serving my country.
Yeah.
But I'd set my goals high. And I was young. I had didn't really have much failure before, and then but I decided to do my commitment and got out, and I knew that I wanted to do music.
Yeah.
That was
well, you're definitely a talented guy.
Thank you.
Let's go back to, when did you first start playing guitar?
At a very early age. My brother was in a Kiss tribute band.
Oh yeah.
He was a big rock and roller, and still is, but he's not into tribute bands anymore. But he was into all the rock music, and so I looked up to him as kind of an idol to kind of learn to play like and everything. And he taught me some basics, and I was probably about 12, I think, 12 or 13,
all right,
when I started really getting into it.
Yeah.
I'd always been a compulsive listener with music, and at a very early age, I had little toy guitars that I would stand up in front of the TV and watch pure country to, and
you like to sing along and everything.
I do, yeah. I had the whole setup. I had my grandmother's walking cane set up like a microphone. I had little boots, little rattlesnake boots, a little hat, and a little clown guitar thing that I'd pick around on. But
yeah,
so it always
pictures.
Had been.
We want pictures.
We got pictures. Yeah, we got those. Yeah, I'm sure.
See, when you make your Brandon Bamburg deck of cards, you need 52 pictures, so that one will have to definitely be in
That'll
there.
be the Joker card, yeah.
Oh, Lord. So, when was it that you discovered that you could write?
I didn't really, I never was much of into writing or any type of stuff when I was in high school. I was just trying to breeze by and everything, and never
play
had
those tunes and make those girls go, oh.
Yeah, at the time I was just like, I'm gonna be in my dress blues. That'll get them wild and going. But really, it wasn't until I got out of the service that I started writing or attempting to write, and that's because I needed to have that life experience in order to write a song. And
there you go.
I'd always had loved George Jones and Merle Haggard and Waylon, and but after a while, covers are great and all, but that's not going to get you anywhere in the music industry.
You're right. You're right.
Unless if you're doing if you're like a professional impersonator, which it's hard for me to impersonate anybody, let alone myself. So
you did Bart Simpson.
Oh yeah.
No.
So yeah, but then I just started. I picked up a pen and just started writing something. And the first song I ever wrote is not one I did tonight. It was called "I Owe It All to You." That was the first song I'd ever wrote all the way through, and it's a fan favorite for a lot of people. And but yeah, that was really about 2015 when I started writing music.
Oh wow!
So,
so it hasn't been
not
that
too long ago. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
Because I mean, really, before that, I didn't have any plans on making a music career because I was like, I want to be a Navy SEAL, and then
right.
So when I start things, I stay pretty committed to it. So like, if I'm gonna do one thing, I'm gonna go as far as I can with it. And whenever I started playing in bars in California, I was like, this is what I want to do. So then I set my mind to it and tried to find every avenue I could to try to get somewhere with it.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Well, I think you're definitely where you need to be.
Thanks.
You're a very, very talented man.
Thank you.
I know that you had mentioned some of the artists that you really respected and liked, and you wrote songs about them. What were some of your other musical heroes as well?
Well, really all the guys from the late 70s and early 80s, and George Strait was kind of my first intro into it, and then country music. And I mean, I love all styles of music. I love old rock and roll. I love the blues. A certain amount I can take of it, but for the mass majority of it, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I love B.B. King, and I love Eric Clapton. Those are, and I love Kiss. Kiss is one of the.
They're fun.
They're a fun group to go see and everything. But I'm not really my go-to is always going to be country music. But I love listening to all styles to see what everyone else has to offer.
Yeah,
but,
vocally, country. I mean, I can't see you anywhere else with that deep, nice voice. Did you have any vocal training, or is that just a God-given gift there?
I didn't really have any training. Nothing. Just listening to old records.
Really?
I kind of learned to, how they did it, because a lot of those old guys, they didn't have training either. A lot of them they just went right into it, and over the years, my voice has matured, or it changes all the time, but I never really had any guitar training, no vocal training, any of that stuff. So I've been very blessed to have what I have, and people seem to like it.
Have you tried shopping your songs, like in Nashville? And
I have not gone that far yet with it, just because there's so much dirty business out there with music. I've had my fair taste of it already, but as far as like my songs, they're like my children. It's hard to I couldn't get rid of them or anything like that. Now if the right person were to come along, and say, hey, somebody needs a song and they want an old school country song,
right?
I'd be willing to do something for them.
Entertain the millions of dollars that they're going to throw your way.
Oh, of course, of course, who wouldn't turn that down? But
shoot,
really, it's just I love writing the songs, and I love to share my story, because if I'm writing for someone else, I don't know what experiences they've had. I don't know what unless they tell me about it. If they tell me their life story, I can write about it. But it's hard to do something like that. But if something came along in the future, sure, why not? But
now I understand. Unfortunately, all of us have to keep the lights on, until we're discovered.
Yep.
And so you do work part-time for Lowe's.
Yep.
Yes. And you had made a comment here on your sheet that Lowe's has talent. Is that
That's a competition that Lowe's has been doing for the past 3 years, and what they do is they do a nationwide audition of singers or musicians that work for the company to go perform in Las Vegas for the annual store managers meeting, which is all the store managers from every store in the country and in the world, and all the big wigs and the CEO of the company will be there. So it's a crowd of about 3,500 people, and a listening 3,500 people.
That's awesome.
So that's a good thing. But out of, I think it was about 270 people, they chose 13 to go, and I was lucky enough to be selected to go.
Great.
So in a couple of weeks, I'll be flying out to Vegas. And
so this is the first time that you've done this for them.
Yeah. And they had told me about it when I first started there, because I told them that I did music, and they're like, "Oh, you should audition for the talent show." And I was like, some cheesy deal. But whenever I looked into it, I was like, "Man, this is kind of a big
Vegas,
deal."
woo!
Yeah, week paid for in Las Vegas. Heck yeah, I'll do it. I submitted that song "Deep in My Heart," and they seemed to like it pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when you get back, I want you to call us, and I want you to tell us how it was and how you felt up there with 3,500 sets of eyes on you.
I'm sure it'll feel just as good as it is right here tonight. So, yeah.
That's great. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I know Randy's always booking shows for this year into probably next century. So we'll figure something out. This will be great.
Perfect.
But again, look forward to you coming back. Thank you so much for being here this evening. We know that our time is precious, and you shared your evening with us.
Certainly my honor. Thank you.
Thank you. You are in the music room.